Starting this one a little later today. Took me a little more time to wake up. It's basically 11 a.m. It's 10:54, so basically 11 a.m. On January the 16th, 2019. Weird dreams. Slash not dreams. Slash, I know I had weird dreams, I can't remember for the life of me what they were. Kind of thing, yeah. I don't know. Just, I have to go to Costco today. I'm not sure really when I want to do that. I feel weird today. Like my head doesn't feel quite right, which is weird saying that. It doesn't feel the same as it was. It's not like it's unpleasant. It's not like I feel brain foggy. It's just, it definitely, like, not just my brain feels different. And anyone going, you don't feel your brain, you don't have nerve ending, you get what I'm saying. The brain sends the signals out to make it so that way you can get the basic understanding of what's going on in there. But yeah. It's weird. Like, I'm super, super tired. Like, very tired. And at the same time, like, awake. And then at the same time, I'm like, very calm, but also at the same time, I'm feeling very wired. It's all like a mixture of extremes. It's very odd. It's very odd. Kind of wondering how everybody else was doing, truthfully. Send me a sign if you're having some good times, if you're having bad times, if you want to talk. Make a, account on Reddit, see if I can't find you. Yeah, I don't know who is out there, but yeah, I never know. I'm not really too into like trying to talk to anybody right now outside of just maybe a few messages, but even then I just don't really, I don't have it in me right this second. I'm just not very sociable in the morning usually anyways. But the last couple of days I kind of got up early and immediately went and did something, and today I'm just more out of it. Like I'm very wiped. I'm very glad that I have not much going on today. If not, I'd be stressing myself even more, and I'm pretty sure I'd have extreme burnout on Thursday, if not the weekend. So yeah, it's good to have a break. It's good to be able to allow those relaxations to happen. There are other people in the world. I mean, that's the thing. Like, once I get out in the world, I'm not going to have this. So I'm kind of dreading that. Truthfully speaking, I am. Stress gets ramped up. I'm worried about, like, having to handle that. Loneliness is not so big of a deal for me. I can seek out the company of others and be content just being hung around individuals in a club or something and not really having a deep connection. I have severe trust issues. Deep connecting with people is not exactly easy. It takes a long time and a lot of effort usually on the other person's part, because I'm not going to put much effort in. It's a defense mechanism. It really is. It's almost like a test. which it shouldn't be. Like, they should be from both sides, and I recognize that, and I need to get better at putting forth that effort into trying things, trying to make those plans and everything. But yeah, I'm just, yeah, that's the thing. Like, this is something I'd say for anybody out there that has this issue, like myself, and you're worried that the other person is hates you because you don't do this or that, and you have the same issue I do, and you do want them to at least continue trying, and you do want to get to be friends with them, or maybe more. You're going to have to explain to them that, yes, I have these trust issues. Yes, I have this, inability to be as vulnerable as most people would like. And so it will take more effort out of that individual. Okay. Yeah, emergency test. That's kind of how that goes for me. And I've never ever told anybody, and I've not really ever have been in that kind of position. Even with Sue, it's like I don't really want anything to go beyond where we're at, where we just talk and everything. It's usually up to the other person to make it. If they want more, then yeah, they kind of have to put forth the effort. Otherwise, I squash my emotions down so hard that even if I did want someone, I would avoid them, either subconsciously or consciously. I have severe fear and paranoia over people hurting me. I've been hurt so many times and bullied in so many ways and used in so many different things that in all reality, no, it's not easy for me. And it never probably will be. But that doesn't mean that I don't want love. It doesn't mean that I don't want to try. It just means that right now, I don't feel comfortable with even doing that. But if someone were to show up and were to start trying, it's a different story. But yeah, I think that's too much to place on another individual. That's one of the reasons why I'm like, it's not healthy, and I'd like to be able to get myself into a position where it's not all rested upon the other individual to do all of the work, or not all of the work. I do understand, and once I do pick up on the signals, that's the thing. Like, now I'm a little better at it. Same stuff started happening with Sue. I did need some advice at Momentum. Unfortunately, I used her name and all that, and it got messy. But I did eventually say, look, I just want to be friends, and that's it. I just am not I didn't say this to her, but I'm just not attracted to her. It really is that simple. It's like, I'm not attracted to her in that way whatsoever. So it's pretty easy to just be friends for me. That's how that goes. If I'm attracted to someone, there's a huge difference between how I act. Is that true? Honestly, I've never really been friends with an attractive woman or girl since I was a teenager. The last one I think was in college, where she was, okay, so this wasn't even I picked up on the signals immediately. I kept looking back because I was having paranoia attacks, and I wanted to make sure that the exit was still there. Unfortunately, she was right in the path of me constantly looking back, and so I kind of made it a joke so that way it wouldn't seem like I was creepy or weird constantly looking backwards. And she was having trouble with math, and so she eventually, and I never had trouble with math, really. I just never really tried to actually do the homework, because I hate homework. I always was like, you know what, I'm only doing up to 80%. The rest of that is my time to do me, plus anything beyond that is just more complex equations that are, quite frankly, stupid to even have to deal with, so... So I did 80% of the homework and I got my B and that was it. Like, I mean, it really is. If you want all A's, that's the thing. Like, you gotta put in forth the effort. But in reality, it's not that hard just to get a B. It really isn't. And it's basically, you know the fucking material, and quite frankly, if you're on the job, you'll learn more for that job than whatever the fuck you're being taught at school. It's just how it is. Just a giant fuck-ton waste of money, as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, back to the story. Yes, so she, while we're waiting out, waiting for the teacher to come in, and she eventually asked if I can tutor her, and she kept making advances. Again, to like, oh, let's go to the coffee shop and do that, and she would give me a present for my birthday, even though she barely knew me. Just little, like, things, that Cindy Erza. And she was older, than I was. Don't really know how old. I never asked. I don't really care. She looked beautiful to me. As far as I was concerned, that was it. I don't really need to know your age to know if you're beautiful or not. But, yeah, so that was, unfortunately for her, during the time when my mother tried to first kill herself. And I thought I could or no, was it the second time? I forget. I think it was launching into after the second time. Or was it the first? Point is, my mother had recently tried to kill herself. And I just was severely depressed, and couldn't really help. I still helped her with her homework, had some fun, laughed a couple of times. She kept thinking that I can't do this because, I'm not good enough. And I'm like, what the fuck? No, look, you can do this. It just takes time. You got this. This is how you do this equation. Be very patient. Of course they're going to make mistakes. Like I taught her, I thought, fairly well, as best I could. And she didn't have any issues. So, I mean, like, it wasn't like I was the best in the class or anything. So, at best, she would have been able to get to 80%. It's like, I didn't understand some of the stuff towards the end there. I'm terrible with, like, disillusion, like, as equations regarding, like percentages in regards to, like, stuff dissolved into other liquids, or whatever it is. Like, I'm just terrible at those equations. I have no idea why, but I'm just bad at them. Like, the way they set up the stupid word problem, too, and then they're like, you need to make boxes and stuff, and it just becomes this whole annoying, complicated thing that I feel like could be simplified way faster. Like, there has to be an easier way for that equation to be done. But I digress. But yes. So as a result, she did do better, but like I basically couldn't even handle the fact that she liked me again. Like, it seems like they always show up right around the time when I have shit going on in my life. You know what I mean? Like, but when are you never not having something going on with your life when you have your own parents going? I mean, that's the thing. When you've got destructive parents that have their own disruptive lives, and unfortunately you have to work around them, and then that you want your own stuff to happen. Well, it's not exactly possible, because they end up disrupting your own emotions and feelings and stuff like that. Along with, they'll instill like, oh, well, if they're not good enough for you because X, Y, Z, which makes you want them more. It's not a good idea to do that, parents. Never is. I'm gonna keep you away from this boy because meh. God damn. That's the worst way to do that. Here's how to do this. Sit them down, okay? And explain your perspective on why you think this boy is bad news, okay? And use your own experiences to try and help, okay? Still, they are going to think they are going to think that you are trying to control them. And in a way you are. But in reality, if you set it up in such a way that if you are parenting them where you aren't trying to control them, you just get basic guidelines as to, look, don't do this. Generally, don't go into this type of crowd of people. Generally, yes, there are good people and bad people. And, this is how you kind of identify a bad person. And if you see someone doing this, that's a bad thing. And, just that. You give them the tools to see for themselves who is both good and bad. You don't have to come up with the whole controlling, seeing this person, they're horrible for you and I don't like their family, bullshit. Because that's not a way to make it work. It just isn't. It's a terrible way to have that happen. And parents on the opposite end, you can be wrong. Straight up, you are not always correct. You can be wrong. Just because you've had these experiences in the past with your generation of XYZ culture or group of people does not mean worth a lick in the future once you start talking about new societal norms, new societal and cultural shifts, and quite frankly, you were at work for so damn long, it went over your head. You probably got stuck thinking the same damn thing because you were constantly working and never challenging your mind. It happens to everybody in America and any country really where capitalistic greed happens. They don't give you the time to stop and think about your fellow man. Because you're always worried about bills, you're always worried about the next meal, you're always worried about everything that could possibly go wrong. And that's, unfortunately, a great way to just start up anger, desperation, triggers, anxiety, depression, so many of these negative things that are plaguing our society everywhere you look. It's not, there's too many people depressed. It's like, no, motherfucker, there are too many things causing people to be depressed about. Think about it that way. It's not, people are just so weak. It's like, no, we set up a system where too few can actually succeed. Asshole. It's not that what you think or have been taught with your conservative ideals and your religiosity is correct. It's not. It's just straight up not correct. And it hasn't been for a very long time. In fact, I don't think it ever was correct. But people will tell you, they'll give you examples. Oh, yeah, but back in the day, I'm like, yeah, but you ever think about the cultural norms that were there back in the day that facilitated these thoughts and actions? And maybe that the other perspective might see it entirely differently? I'm just saying that your opinion and idea is not exactly correct. And it can be updated. I'm not saying I'm always correct either. I have my own issues with bad perception, but I also update my views pretty often when I see new information. That isn't to say that you can win me over with one article pointing out one example. But there are many, and I do mean many, studies showing racism, bigotry, and all this other shit is just terrible. Straight up terrible. And the people that perpetuate it only perpetuate abuse and furthering of the destruction of humanity. As far as I'm concerned, they are viruses and cancer that needs to be exterminated, that needs to go through proper radiation and cutting out, and that's how that goes. They can be unbrainwashed. They can be shown the truth. They can have an epiphany. There are abilities for these people to change their minds and come back into a real army, a real, sense of purpose again, because they'll have a true direction for their anger. They'll have a true direction for their troubles that are plaguing them in reality. It's not just one minority. It's not just because of this group of people or those groups of people. It's a lot of individuals at the top that have set it up in such a way so that we will fight each other because we will only see those groups doing this bad thing and therefore XYZ when they sit up at the top. They're looking down at that grid that they designed, watching people flow through it, killing, and all the while we get our money, they get their money. That's how it goes. They set up the policies, they set up the rules, the regulations, they try and push forward certain things in the media so that way people are angry about this and not that. It's controlling. It's very controlling. And quite frankly, I've had enough of that. I think it's stupid. I think, honestly, the fact that they're able to do this and that they set it up in such a way with capitalistic societies that, it's a private corporation, so clearly we can do whatever the hell we want, when there's definitely something to be said with regulating companies such as that from airing certain bullshit or opinion pieces or anything like that, and instead of stating straight to the point facts, you can't lie anymore. That would be one hell, and I do mean one hell, of a fucking double hockey stick slapped to the face for them. Like, if they could literally, during live or recorded, any opinion that it had to be backed up by statistics and facts, then there would be a vast, vast sudden drop off in fake news and bullshit. Like, if they had to back it up, then no, there would be a lot less there. Because science will whoop your fucking ass when you try and come up with us with some bullshit pseudoscience about, I saw this and, from my experience, guess what? Your experience is limited. This is what the studies say. Clearly you're wrong. Shut up. I still feel my way. Well, you're wrong. You can feel that way, but it doesn't mean you're right. Your feelings are not right. You're entitled to them, but it doesn't mean that they are correct. And I use the word feelings because for the right of America, their feelings are their opinions. They're just shouting them very loudly. And they're not saying I feel, but that's basically what they're saying. And it happens everywhere, man. It doesn't matter where, America, Canada, fucking Europe, go to China, India. You have all sorts of those fuckers. All sorts of them. They're so prevalent. And the fact is that we made them. Society made those fuckers. um, it's not their fault completely. You know? Like, it's not like they were born thinking that. They were raised and taught to believe these things and to act this way because they saw it happening in their lives. But it does not mean that it's correct, and it doesn't mean that you're stuck only with believing those things and thinking those ways. The old, what I said yesterday, just because you were taught bad doesn't mean you are bad. You can change. Everything can change. Beliefs get updated. If they don't, then, well, you're willfully ignorant, a failure, as far as I'm concerned, a waste of human life. You've succeeded in doing the one thing you shouldn't, which is stop trying to get better. Alright? And that's the one thing in the human condition that will always be there. We started at fucking Africa, just traveling around in planes, trying to figure out better tools, better hunting methods, better ways of communication, and so on, and building and building and building and building until eventually we got to this point. And unfortunately, I gotta say, our ancestors had a lot more to them going on than we do. They were far more complex emotionally and physically and spiritually, more than likely, than anybody in modern day life. That's insane to think about, that they not only were able to be healthier in general and still not have, I mean, they still had people that had violence and all this stuff, but if you look at it, you never know exactly what it was that caused it. The only example that I can think of that's just straight up seemed malicious was there was a grave of, I think it was a kid and a couple parents that was from like really far back, and I don't remember if they said that there was some possibility of Neanderthal DNA, but I don't think so. There's a possibility, but I don't quite remember. However, the basics of it was they were found just basically stoned and beaten to death in this shallow grave, and they have no idea why. It seemed that was the thing, but the fact is if there is Neanderthal DNA there, if there is features or anything like that, they were ostracized. They were considered bad. They were excluded. And eventually, violence happened. And a terrible thing happened as a result. So yeah, to me, when I see those roots, those terrible roots that will be there because they are for your safety, excluding bad things that are seen as bad from the group, is a survival strategy for your group. Okay, it is not for the light of heart. It is usually seen as this is bad, therefore we have to get rid of it. But it's usually also from a lack of understanding and a lack of, as a result, empathy towards those individuals. I see it time and again where the group thinks that one way and this other group isn't exactly the same way, and therefore they want to hurt them. And it's been going on for millennia upon millennia. And it probably won't ever stop. But we can still stem the tide, we can still educate, we can still create and allow people to come together and help each other. Okay, we don't need to rely upon those animalistic desires for exclusion and violence and anger. simply because we don't understand something. Simply because we hate something. Oftentimes hate is bred through fear. Fear is bred through ignorance. Ignorance is a lack of understanding and information. So it all stems from people not getting the right information and not getting taught the right way. They are taught one way and they see only one thing, and therefore that is the only way and the only thing. Other people have their things going on and they're succeeding with that. I don't like that. They are not doing my thing and they are succeeding not doing my thing that I think is correct. And therefore they are bad and incorrect and I want to hurt them. Again, ignorance and fear. It's the same thing. But there is something to be said for a swindler, a person under the guise of religion, trying to get money, trying to get followers, trying to control. Like that NXIVM fuck. Jesus. Yes, I'm well aware that I also had my own weird things that started happening that are very similar. I also contend to the fact that I was searching around for other individuals that needed to be found that were definitely not good for the environment that I was in. Otherwise known as I was searching for bad guys in the astral plane. Trying to expose them, get people to fucking realize how ridiculously horrible they really were. Is it possible that that was what was really going on? I mean, at the time, you get into those mindsets, you get into their mind, and you start to feel and think and act the same way they do, and it's hard to separate that from your own thoughts and your own beliefs, and you can become overrun with them. You can be overrun with the ideas that they have and their thoughts and their and all that. So it's very tricky. It's very tricky. It's very not fun. Because afterwards it feels like you've switched from one personality to another and you just don't know what to do anymore. You sort of become disassociative, honestly, because it's like, I didn't do that. That wasn't me. But clearly that was me doing it, and clearly that I said those things. So yeah, I mean, it's tricky. But yes, it's unfortunate that they are able to get away with it, and they can take money from these people, like these even TV evangelicals. These fucks deserve problems in their lives. They are walking, festering pieces of garbage and feces. They are lower than most people, as in my mind. A pedophile, at least if he doesn't touch anyone, he doesn't do it, he's not acting on it, and he's trying to do his own thing, or her, isn't as bad as a fucking TV Angelicas that is taking money from desperate people and telling them that they're going to be cured. This is just downright abominable. This is taking advantage of very susceptible people. This is so terrible. And they believe wholeheartedly that it will work. And that's the worst part, because they were taught and told day after day that God will give you strength. God will give you the answer. God will save you. And that's not the fucking case. God is you, motherfucker. God is your brain. God is in every one of us, not one man, not group of men, but everybody. We are all gods of the nature of reality right now, because we happen to have conscious thought. But that means we are the controllers of our own destiny. That's how that works. So God will not suddenly appear in front of you and take away all of your pains and troubles. And He will not send you a sign directly into your head. It's possible that there are different ways that, the human collective mind might be able to possibly come up with some weird coincidence. But it's up to you on how that gets determined. And unfortunately, there are so many things happening and so many different coincidences that happen in the world, I would never trust it. So, yeah, you gotta work on yourself. And when I see these people, I get so angry because they have so much wealth. They do. From these poor, desperate people that are suffering and hurting, and they're just taking so much of an advantage of them that I want to beat the living shit out of them. I just want to go to town on them, man. I want them to fucking say no, no, no while they scramble away and beg for forgiveness, and while I drag them back over to the corner and fucking wail on their little kneecaps again and fucking break some toes and then slowly work my way up until their nose. Yes, I'm very angry with them. They are terrible human beings that do not deserve any empathy as far as I'm concerned. Yes, there are reasons for their actions, but their actions are what are the problem. There are different levels. There are people that have caused problems and can get better. Okay? But that is inexcusable. That is not right at all. That is a continuation of severe abuse and misappropriation of power. It's, quite frankly, one of the worst things you can do. And they get away with it, and it's legal. And that, even if it isn't totally legal, they still get away with it. It's stupid. And it's another example of people being taken advantage of because of their belief system. And that's one of those things where you got to be careful, because you have a belief system, people can use you very easily. They know. They're sociopaths. They're psychopaths. They want their money. They want their power. They don't care if they use you. They don't care how they use you. They just want what they want, and they'll do anything to get it. And that's wrong as shit. Now, I'm not completely without my own issues in that regard, too. I saw power. I saw opportunity. Yes, it might have been under the guise of trying to get all these secret societies being able to see everybody and being able to get them to stop creating all these mass problems and maybe focus on slowly bringing the world up towards a better world. But I'll be damned, if it doesn't seem to really matter for some of them. And so yes, I got angry. So yes, I fucking said things that, in all honesty, I really never should have said, but I did believe at the damn time, okay? I believed it. I was stuck in the throes of that power ecstasy, man. The feeling of like being able to control things and help and believe that there was for a better purpose. So yes, everybody is corruptible. Everybody has their issues. I don't care how good you start off. You can become the monster you were fighting. Yeah. Or this. There we go. No, I don't really have anything to talk about. I just want to bullshit around for a while. My dad's going to be home in a while. Pretty soon here. I don't want to antagonize anybody, but I just think it's really cute and funny that there are certain individuals shitting their pants so bad. That's great. Oh, they know who I am. They know I haven't done anything. They know that they can try and ruin my life. They also know that there are other things going on in the background that they don't want to fuck with, because it's also they will interfere with their operations. How does it feel to be in a situation where you're stuck? I know that feeling quite well, considering you won't let me get a job, and you won't let me move out, and you won't let me do other things. It's quite feeling stuck.
Oh, kitty. Oh, kitty.
Hey, Dad.
Hey. The cat, the dog.
You going to meet up with Mom?
Mom has the dog.
What's that?
Mom has the dog. She's coming this way.
So, anyways, as I was saying, I think it's kind of funny. It is. Like I said, also, I don't really want to antagonize. I don't want to create a bad situation. Everybody is very close here. We're trying to get talks together. We're trying to make things happen. Alright, let's just try and get that to happen. Please, let's not try and antagonize. Let's not let those grudges boil over into the point where you no longer can do anything but react. Alright? It's time for peace and change. Yes, I'm well aware that she is kind of radioactive, but she's a piece of this as well. Even if she did do things that are wrong and bad, it doesn't change that she still had good intentions. Everybody deserves some form of redemption. But you gotta be cautious, as I am. So, yeah. Been mostly thinking about my day today. I did manage to get a lot of stuff done. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it here. Hello there. It is 6:22 p.m. I'm still feeling good. Feeling like a jerk. You know I can't get out. You know that. There's no possible way for me to even have an online relationship without it being scrubbed to death. So, right now, this is kind of the best we have. I'm sorry I put you through this. I'm sorry that I started this off the wrong way. It's bad. It never should have happened this way, and quite frankly, there's not much I feel like I can do about it, unfortunately. I'm gonna be stuck constantly watching over my back. But I'm also gonna be stuck constantly having to determine, because like until they show up and I'm okay. So original, this is for real, as best as I understand it. All right. 2016 originally was, I found out about them. Yeah, she or whoever it was. Well, shit. Basically, if I'm remembering this correctly, I basically stated, look, you want me to come up with the plan to save the world? You want all this money and all, and like it's gonna cost you and all this stuff. And I think or not like that, but essentially it was like, okay, so you have to get rid of. I can't really say it. There are. Just say it. Why don't you want to say it? Because technically it's extremely scary and they have a lot of power, and I don't really know what to say about it. Because technically I'm also here, and it'd be nice to just not have that problem. Suppose I should go to a place where there really isn't anybody. Suffice it to say, 2016 and I made a deal. In this deal, after everything was said and done, essentially we were supposed to meet and get together. And that was kind of it. That's really all I can say about it outside of that, but basically I am beholden to that. I am a loyal person, and I made that deal, and I will hold on to that deal. However, things have changed. The deal also stated plans can change at the end of it. And certain things need to happen. Okay? So, yes. The one that is there, that is also radioactive, I say, let her and I try while you make it over, or whatever the case is. Like, just don't fucking hurt her. She did a lot. She was, quite frankly, I fucked with her head. I really did. I did. It's just, I can't even, I hate myself every fucking day of it, because I've manipulated you so bad. So bad. And I sure there might have been reasons, but goddamn, it made me feel icky, it made me feel dirty, it made me hate myself more, and it made me lash out even more, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to break down those boundaries that you had in place. I didn't want to destroy things. I didn't want to hurt you. But I did all those things, and I'm paying for a lot of it. But you're paying even worse, to a degree, than your own way. And you deserve to be happy. I deserve to be happy. I would love to be able to make it to, or have you make it to me, or be able to make it to you in whatever fashion, or have some sort of a connection somewhere where it's not this. You know, like, I know 2016, I still love you, and I still not only will hold on to that deal, it's just, unfortunately, like I thought might happen, you go undercover, you can lose sight of not just the original purpose, but catch feelings. And I did. She was the only one there for me when everybody else ostracized me. She was the only one there that created the people that aren't there for me. She was the light at the end of my tunnel during those dark days. And yeah, she was a little crazy. Fuck, I was even crazier. And that sparked up something that's kind of hard to put into words. I would dearly love to take back all the hypnosis, all the stupid rules that I set up for you, everything, and allow you to be your own person and make your own decision, because I feel very much like I manipulated you into thinking that you have to be with me and that you want me and all this. Like, I feel like it was... I used and abused you, and unfortunately I did, and I just don't feel like that I'm worth your time, quite frankly. I know that you constantly say that you want to be. The thing is like, if you're a man, no, we're never gonna be together that way. It's not happening. Even if you're a trap, just don't have. As soon as I see a penis, I'm like, I'm out. It's not me. Done. But I can still platonically love a man and share experiences and thoughts and feelings and be friends with them. Damn good friends. I'll lift you up out of anything that you could possibly think and imagine. Same with my girlfriend. I'll help my damn best. Not just for myself, but for you to be able to carry on and help yourself and be able to become a better person, and hopefully no longer feel as though you need me. 'Cause yeah, yeah. I don't know really what to do. Quite frankly, we are stuck apart. There is no Romeo and Juliet meeting. It really is gonna have to be a Michael and Holly situation where something happens and it allows you to come in. So, yes, I am content with just talking right now, building up another relationship, possibly from the beginning, because that's kind of where we need to be, I feel. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to be constantly looking from afar, and probably even see me get together with someone, which is, I think, to you, probably one of the worst things in the world. I'd love for you to be able to live through vicariously in that situation, but I know that that's wrong. And I mean, if you don't feel comfortable with it, that's the thing. You don't feel comfortable with it, and that's just how it is. But yeah, like, I feel like eventually you'll gain either your self-confidence back, or your thoughts and prayer, or whatever. Like, don't try and not take the lion's mane mushroom to regen your brain, to fight your damnedest to destroy the world. Don't let them bring you down, girl. Like, you're good in my eyes. Yes, you did some terrible things to me, but you deserve redemption. You get a second chance, just like I do. Everybody makes mistakes. I was insane, and yes, I don't technically remember much of how I decided to phrase things and make people do things, but I know I messed up, and I know I'm confused in certain areas, and I know that there are probably things that did happen. And so, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that, and I hope that you can forgive me. "2016 will eventually show up in my life. I am to be with her. They set it up pretty significantly. There's not much I can do to... In fact, I don't really know if I want to, because I know that they sort of saved my ass in several situations from dying. Which means I can't really, like I just, there's nothing in my brain that goes and says 2016 is bad and that I shouldn't help them and be with them. I kind of wish that you could be together with us, honestly. I feel like you're just as part of me now as anybody else is in that regard, and you saved me as well in many ways. And I can never repay you for that. Ever. I just can't. Like, there's... To me, yes, we all have our faults, but you're perfectly imperfect. Which is one of the best parts. If I had one order, one last master to sub relationship order, I would say, I want you to look deep into your heart. Real deep. Give it time, really think about it. In fact, I'd rather you not give me an answer right away and give me one maybe a week from now. Maybe over... No, let's give it to the weekend, I'm going to be listening to music on the ride up there. Or whatever. So, sometime during the weekend. But... think about this. Do you really want to be in this sort of relationship? Will it make you happy? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. I don't want you to be unhappy. I don't want you to feel sad and neglected or abused or anything. I want you to blossom and become an amazing human being. I want you to grow and show the world how amazing you truly are. 'Cause you are. You not only did all this with me, but you continue to keep doing things even though I've basically said no more. And I always kept thinking it's because you feel guilty or like you feel like you're obligated to me, or I manipulated you into thinking that I'm, like you need me, just a whole bunch of negative stuff, and so yes, I would. Do you want to be in this sort of relationship where at best I'll get to meet you someday, hopefully? you know um Please don't try to take it the wrong way. I'm not trying to throw you away, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to give you the real option. This is the reality of the situation. I'm stuck here. I am not leaving this state for a good long time, most likely. They desperately want me to find her as well. 2016 wants me to find her, and truthfully, I wouldn't mind finding her. But I wouldn't mind finding you either. So yeah, if you want to live vicariously through me, then that's great. This is a bit awkward, because this is the beginning, but we still have, it's like a new beginning, but we still have that past. And so I don't know how you feel about the whole, I'm awkward with this, just the whole sexual side of things, basically. It's a bit awkward. I understand that 2016 kind of provides their own material from time to time if they want to get involved together, have a little fun with me, and that used to be it's you as well. And of course others, which is, when you feed somebody like that, that's a different thing. But yeah, it's one of those things where you have to be extremely careful, because people end up getting into this mode where they believe, and I've done it before myself, where you believe that you have to have these attributes to have love or to be adequate, and that's not the case. Besides, if you're any one of the women that showed up on random, well, quite beautiful, but I don't really actually know who you are, and I still don't even know if you're a guy or not. So really, it's a bit awkward to have that kind of conversation, truthfully. It's gonna be a little bit of a slow bleed. I can't start singing to you or doing all this. And I think you kind of know why. It's not exactly easy when you're always able to be heard. They'll be watching me, is what they said on Amazon Music. Every move you make, every step you take, every smile you fake, I'll be watching you. And I'm like, so? So? It's not like I haven't been watched the last 3 years, basically. Bitch, you just joined the fucking club. I mean, that's kind of the truth, though. It really is. It's like, I'm that amazing, apparently, that you've got to look at me all the damn time. Got to be looking around. And I'm like, whatever. Apparently, I've got a very magmatic, or whatever, that whole, that personality that attracts people. It's something I kind of noticed, even when I was a kid. I always just thought it was because I was big. I was always the big kid, just big. But there are other things that go into it, for sure. I know, that douchewad is still trying to piss in my cornflakes, apparently. I gave him a nice send-off. Oh, well, could you please stop? It's not nice. Also, I hope for you to have the best journey to get rid of that anger and start liking yourself and others again. It's really all I can do, I don't have much anger towards him. I really didn't mean to do what I did to him, and I don't even know what I did to him anymore. So I don't, I apologize. I am sorry. I guess I don't know what I did. Hell, I don't even remember half of 2017, truthfully. They fucking poisoned me so damn long that I lost my mind and my stomach and my brain. It's only now starting to come back, and I'm only now starting to get some of my functioning back. But yes, I'm hesitant to say anything beyond, if you want to at least do that, then that's where we're at. There is no me running away. There is no ability to get out. And truthfully, every place I look will most likely be, to me, very paranoid. So take your time. If you can make it over, make it over. If you can't, I also understand that, but you're kind of stuck, just like I am, with this. Now, they're going to get the recordings. They will. And they will hear this. And shit will hit the fan once I start off on my weekend. So, be careful. Be very careful. Yeah, if there was something I could do to be able to make it so I couldn't incriminate you, I would, but just everything is too much everywhere, basically. If they want to, they can find it, and I know that you have your own issues going on and are constantly searching and trying to find yourself, and I'm sorry to be putting this on you. I am. But unfortunately, timetables have scaled up. Things have changed again. You're fucking just amazing. Let's put it this way. I was about to say monster, but I realized that, that would have sounded the wrong way, because I've been using that in a negative context. But in this context, I believe it to be a good thing. You can fucking do this. Not only are you able to push yourself like you have, not only are you able to deal with my fucking crazy ass, and still fucking run a goddamn revolution, you still found time to fucking deal with me and do all this shit, and like, yeah, you got this. I believe in you. I believe in you. Even if it's not us coming together and us slowly drifting away, but just make sure you give me a bye. You know? Make sure you really go away after you say that. Like, just know that I still love you. I don't want anything bad to happen to you, and that I hope that you're able to find happiness. I do. You know? I recognize that you might need some of your own physical fun. If you're gonna do that, might as well make some money off of it, though. No, I'm not really suggesting the prostitution thing. It's more along the lines of, like, if you're gonna cam, might as well cam. And who knows, I could always, well, you don't feel, yeah, I don't really like that, truthfully. It does make me feel weird. Not the whole cam, like if it's solo playing with toys and stuff like that, that's different, but it's, you know, a bit different when you add a man in. But at the same time, I'm also very, like, we're not technically together, because it has to be as if we're not even knowing each other. I mean, I don't even know who you are, truthfully. I know you could be somebody, but I don't know who. I know you could still be a man and be pretending and trying to lead me on again, and that is taking advantage of me, and I would like it if you were to just stop, you know? I mean, don't you have enough? Don't you have enough money? Don't you have enough ideas? Don't you have what you need? If you still keep thinking you will always need to take advantage of me, then what's the point? I would dearly, dearly love for none of this to have gone down the way it did. And to have had everything be nice and clean and neat, and the poisoning and the rapes not happen, and all the following and everything else not happen. I know you don't really have the same connections that you used to. I know you don't really have, or probably don't. I don't know these things. You probably don't have the same connections that you used to. Or you probably don't have a lot of things going on that you used to. That doesn't mean you can't rebuild. It doesn't mean that you can't grow again somewhere else and start a new revolution somewhere else. You know, it's not impossible. You can do this. But is it really what you want to do? Right? Like, you've spent so much time with me that I think that you, I don't know, maybe I'm projecting, because, you know, like, maybe it wasn't all bad, maybe it wasn't, you know, this or that, I don't know. It just, yeah, you know, I feel like there's a lot more there that's not quite right, that used to be okay, but of course it's tainted and we have our past. So it's tough. It's very tough. I love you. I do. If you stick around, you might actually be able to figure out the other person's phone as well. If I ever get involved with another person, you can warn me about them. Live vicariously, depending on what you want to do on that end. I'm just coming up with shit. I need to leave you alone on that. I'm trying to. Yeah. How was your day? Honestly, mine was okay, but it was also like detrimental. Like I said, I started off feeling weird. I'm starting to get some weird phlegm coming up. Stomach issues are sort of there a little bit again. So worried about poisoning again. Yeah. Which might have been you or somebody else. I'm not quite sure who was the one poisoning me, but poisoning isn't helpful. If you want me to actually like you, then it would be more beneficial to get my... Woo, 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 woo. Stopping there. No. Look, I already like you. It seemed like a really bad idea for you to be... Don't fucking do that thing that the guy was doing where, he fucking gets poisoned and has a shitty time. Okay? Again, now I would love for my 4-ACO DMT to suddenly go through. But I also am very well aware that there are other things going on, so that might not happen. And I know you really don't have any say in that, I'm betting, so... Yeah. But I want to go off on a journey. I want to go off on a mental journey again and start up with starting to see the truths of the world again. I want to heal. I want to heal so I can be a good person. And I think you should too. It's scary. Perhaps you can do it during when I'm doing it. That's always a possibility. If you need somebody, I'm going to be recording during the entirety of it, the experience. So, I mean, tripping together? Yeah. It's just one of those things where we're stuck. I'm stuck. You're stuck. Everybody is stuck. Don't try and hurt everybody if you can. Like, I'm not exactly without my own faults, and I'm still trying to work my best on how I phrase things. Like earlier, just earlier, I started going off like, you want to know what you can... I need to not do that. That's bad. That is a very bad habit. And I'm used to telling people what to do. As a result of everything that's gone down and ordering people around, and that is not how a relationship is. That is not how a good relationship, a healthy relationship is. Unfortunately, I don't really have too much of an ability to be able to sort of fix things too easily. I'm thinking about ordering some probiotics on Amazon. Get some... One of you says they figured out how to fucking cure cancer. I'm pretty goddamn sure I got some shit inside of me somewhere that they fucking did or were ignoring. uh, and I would take it. You want the guinea pig? I'll be the guinea pig. You don't want to be the guinea pig? If you don't have to be, I will be the guinea pig. But you have to promise me I'm not going to die. That's the only promise. If you believe there's a high probability of anything over 50%, you know, anything, hell, even 40% is really fucking high. So, like, let's cap it at 40. 60-40, you know? About damage. Well, damage is a whole other thing. Damage can be healed over time. I'm more concerned about it running away. We don't know what the effects are long term, and I'd love for that to be studied before I start taking certain things. But I also am very well aware that that's not always the case. So if you are unwilling to try it even yourself, that's sort of an indication as to my lack of wanting to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying that there's a possibility here that there could be many, many different things that go on and happen, and there's a lot of other things that are going on in the background, and you really should make sure to talk to everybody that's involved. Basically, don't do it if you don't think that it won't help. As for, apparently you had your own. Yeah, I probably should get rid of something. Well, then how do you do that? That's the thing. Like, if it's an injection, then how would that work? And if it's for you, if you're the one with the cancer, I fucking damn, like, sorry. I really am. Do you think you have cancer? If yes, try and fix that. Don't let yourself wallow in despair. I don't really have much in my life, and truthfully, I'm pretty sure they're going to not give me a cancer diagnosis. I'm just going to die. They won't do an autopsy, and that's going to be it. Um, and it's very scary. I'm very paranoid about them. I have next to no ability really to get out of here or fix the problems. So if you think you can get somebody to inject me at night and I won't know, or if I order probiotics and that somehow, takes it, or whatever it is that can be done, I will do that. Um, I just started again. I literally just started having good results with my mind again, with my body and my feelings, and it feels like I'm returning back to myself again before I spiraled out of control. Um, but I mean, I'd much more like it if I could, instead of that, have the doctors and nurses help me instead of hurt me. And not fake the diagnoses and change the results and everything else. Yeah, I know I'm not going to get that. They're veterans. They have their orders. They're undercover. They're not going to change much. And of course, I don't know. I could be a hypochondriac. Could be. It could be that you're already giving me everything that I need, so there's that too. But just remember that there's also the other women that are involved here, and I fell in love with them as well, and do hope for them to also do well and help, and I wanted, that's the thing, like, it sucks because, like, I feel like I cheated everybody. I feel like I made this so much worse than it ever needed to be. I feel like I manipulated people and hurt people and made things wrong, and I never meant to do that. I never meant to. That's not how it was supposed to go. But what they did to my brain, trying to kill me or whatever it was, trying to get rid of the memories I had, they took it and they ran with it. Like, the only reason why I lived was because they let me live. And I'm stuck with that. Just try to remember that you can do this. And that at the very least, if you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you. Okay? I do. You are a good person, and you deserve happiness. We were both put into a situation that was ridiculous and stupid, and we rebelled against it, and it was great, and we hurt people, and that was not so great. But it doesn't change the fact that we are both good people. We had good intentions, that we want to make the world a better place. Yeah. Alright. And an hour and 28 on here anyways. Okay. So, everybody, we are trying to work together to make a better world. Okay? Stop trying to perpetuate the old stereotypes that because you're old, you can't get a new lease on life by thinking and challenging your own thoughts. Don't perpetuate the stereotype that all Midwest Southern people happen to be racist, which some of you are, unfortunately. But that's, you can work on that. Same goes with, like, extreme left-wing, either women or men. They end up becoming just ridiculous. Just fucking ridiculous. It's insane. And they don't even realize their own, like, hypocrisy of it because they're ostracizing another minority group for... It just gets frustrating. And you're just perpetuating this same issue over and over and over again. Now, this is the big part. And this seems to be the thing right now. Men have not been told this often that they are in the wrong for what the fuck they do. And you are. Okay? You were taught wrong. That's just how that goes. You didn't understand that there are new now cultural changes about how you are supposed to act and speak toward another individual. Oh, it's politically correct. No. This is basic human decency, fuckface. Now, if they were telling you, well, you can't tell me, blah, 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 or you need to make sure to only call me this, and blah, blah, blah. A huge difference. There's a big difference also to, like, a trans or a gender fluid person. If they have a specific pronoun and they let you know that pronoun, you should use that pronoun, okay? That is their right to be called however they choose. It is not up to you to choose what they are called. It is up to them. Just as you have your own name and identity, okay, you wouldn't want someone just randomly changing it to be something else and just they called you that, right? It feels like shit when people do that, doesn't it, Frank? So, yes. You need to have a little bit of an ability to have some semblance of just compromise. But there are some things you don't compromise on, and there are some things you do. You know, I don't really know what the whole political spectrum, like the whole red-blue situation. I'm fairly purple. Like, I'm more blue-purple than red-purple, personally. But yeah, I mean, most of mine stemmed from me being fairly significantly Republican for a good long while I was growing up. I mean, hell, I was your stereotypical redneck. Watched the Hunting Network, loved throwing football, you know, golfing, sports, you know, that whole, like, outdoor good old boy crap, which at the time I identified with because it was just fun and interesting. The thing is that just because it's fun and interesting does not necessarily mean all aspects of it are good. As I was alluding to at one point or another, you know, no, actually, you guys weren't here for that. That's right. Well, suffice it to say, I met a lot of, in my travels through well, back in the day, it was TeamSpeak, and CMW servers and Battlefield 2142 and all this. My foray into talking to adults were mostly racist old white dudes in the fucking Midwest. And I got introduced to, for the first time, real racial slurs. Not just the N-word, like some serious shit. You know, stuff that, like, you hear today and you're like, you're a fucking dick, you know? But back then, I didn't know what they were, but essentially, where am I going with this? I forgot where I was going with this. Shit. It's the clonidine right now. It really is. It kind of hit me pretty hard. Still does. Makes you a little punch drunk, honestly. You kind of have to fight through it. Yeah. But suffice it to say, yeah, that was my first foray into the whole realm of racism. And I didn't know it was racism at first, but eventually I realized that, well, this angry person is shouting these really horrible words towards this individual they know nothing about. They just assume that they are. And, you know, I started distancing myself from a lot of that. And, like, my last real clan was the Triple X clan. And, you know, they had their own issues with that, too. My most recent clan is more of a platoon, just a group of friends, really. The KOAs is well, they're good. They were very good. From Brazil, France. One guy was an American. Another guy was from New York. Yeah, and we clicked. Now, the only thing is that I had a friend named Sticky. Hyper negative at the end there towards our friendship. But in the beginning, we clicked because we both didn't really like the racist undertones of a lot of the people that we were dealing with in TeamSpeak. But, stuff happens over time. We drifted apart. There were just multiple red flags for me. Like he was just extremely negative about anything. Everything was to blame for any of his problems. There was nothing that you could do to have a good game with the guy. He just became super negative. Then, we discussed a little bit more in depth about some of our, personal thoughts and feelings, and it was revealed that he was a creationist. And that kind of threw me for a loop because I figured the guy was actually pretty logical, and he did enjoy. I mean, he was a networker, an IT guy for his living, And so it surprised me. It surprised me a lot. He was in Maine, and I guess it's a bit different up there, but it just really did surprise me. And then he kind of went off into Cyclops are real and all these other things. And looking back at it now, I probably should have said, those articles are fake, right? Like they're not real. But he wholeheartedly believed him. I didn't think it was really my place to tell him or try and explain to him anything like that because he was older than me. He had his own wife and house and all this stuff. And so I really didn't feel like I could say anything about it. But I didn't really like, truthfully, a lot of his ideas and a lot of the way he acted. And a lot of how he treated people, or more specifically, like how he would get angry and just start screaming at everybody. But this was more towards the end of our sort of relationship. That was right around the time Trump was starting to run for office. Or not Trump. It was Trump. And was it me? No. It might have been, who was it? It might have been the guy that Obama beat the second time. Whatever fuckface that guy is. That white ass. That fucking oil spill of a douche. Yeah. I mean, yeah. He's a bit of a douche. He is. Now, I forget, it begin with an M. Mike Pence, maybe? Oh, that's another douche. Sorry. Not sorry. Yeah, no, but yeah, I started to distance myself from him around that time because he was very heavy pro-right. Like, a lot of stuff that I just didn't agree with. Anti-abortion, and creationist theory, and he tried to link me to the Bill Nye, the time Bill Nye decided to do a debate with the creationist guy and just destroys him, quite frankly, but you just see the guy laugh it off because he's so dumb that he doesn't even take in the information. That's one of those unfortunate things where it's like the person wholeheartedly, convictedly believes this, and you can show them truth and facts, but they will not change their mind. And unfortunately, to change that mind, you must show them reality, not just words, not just a few actions, but you must show them the actual reality of the situation and have them live it for long enough that they actually understand it, because they can't actually have the ability to perceive the other perspective. They've lost their empathy. They've lost their ability to think about the other person that they're talking to. Because me, I, and that's it. And unfortunately, that doesn't help the world go round. That really just causes problems. So, yeah. Anyways, where was I going with this? Yeah, anyways, that fuckface. And we kind of drifted apart. But the moral of the story is basically, I realized that there were a lot more racists in America that were much more willing to be racist if they were just, they had one name, one bearish, the smallest amount of mask in front of them, and they go off. They feel like they're protected just enough to show their true colors, you know? But sociopaths and psychopaths won't do that. Oh, no. No. They like to pretend the entire time, all the way to the grave, because they're afraid. They're very afraid of themselves and others. I believe sociopathness is rooted deeply in a lot of trauma early age, and a lot of very unhealthy emotional coping mechanisms that are essentially you getting rid of your emotions to better be able to handle what's happening, which is not good. I think that there are some people that can get it back, but there are some that, truthfully, without the right medication and therapy, it's just never going to happen. And here's the thing, they are prime candidates for psychedelics. I know that sounds weird, but they really are. I wouldn't even start them off with cannabis because they might stop there. I know that sounds really weird, but if we're talking about a really significantly bad problem with your brain, if you can't have empathy towards others, or you can't see their side of things, and you're always having to constantly put up another mask and another thing, and you get angry all the time, you lash out, basically, it's not good. It's really not good. And you need a really powerful medication to combat that, because there are, unfortunately, ways that your brain grew up due to your environment that make it more difficult for you to be able to achieve that level of function. I believe there are definite areas in your both emotional and logical processing in your brain that most likely need to be re-triggered again. Essentially, you need to be able to re-feel again. You need to be able to continue to be able to re-feel. You need to be able to continue to get better, you know. I mean, there are so many people that are prime candidates for psychedelics. The thing is that it's extremely scary, and you have to be careful. Set and setting are very important, and some people, I understand that doctors like to say that it can help to facilitate greater chance of psychosis and stuff like that. At the same time, I also almost want to say that you might be able to, as a result, possibly figure out what's going on that's causing those psychoses and other issues. While you might still have them afterwards, you might get a better understanding of them and therefore be able to better handle and control maybe a little bit, you know. And again, like, you need like, for those people, not me, but for those people that are very, like, it's dangerous, it can be dangerous, you need a lot more protection. You really need a person there to help you out. You really need a sitter. You really should get yourself a proper, like, person that can help you through the trip. And even then, like, it wouldn't be my first recommendation. Honestly, I would say CBD would be better. Perfectly honest. Diet, exercise does help control things, but unfortunately, if you're schizophrenic, oftentimes it's very difficult to get yourself to do stuff in any sort of regularized manner. Your brain's just on the fritz. It's much different than you think. Am I schizophrenic? I might have been called that, and I might have gotten the fucking label, but I really don't think so. I haven't had any goddamn. I mean, let's put it this way: a lot of the things that I thought were happening were happening. The people that were following me are still following me. The people that are watching are still watching. Which, by the way, I got your message. I'm gonna watch you forever, basically, right? Every step you take, every move you make, every smile you fake, I'll be watching you. Well, who gives a shit? Watch me. I don't care. You got a problem? Like, I thought we were supposed to be working together on this Agit. You don't like Agit? You want Agit? Yeah, does it not make you feel good when I don't use your name correctly? You little fucking douche. Why? Am I supposed to be angry about him? Dude's not even worth my time to think about. Seriously, he's just a corporate sludge case he could be so easy to manipulate and control. He's already done it for corporations. He looks very much like an individual that will cheat. He looks very much like an individual that has low self-esteem. He looks very much like an individual that is highly manipulated. Quite frankly, that's how that happened. He got into the power, got bought off by corporations. He's a douche. And he's going to be like, I've got all the money. Keep calling me whatever you want. I'll have the money. I'm like, so? Does that make you successful? Because it doesn't mean anything to me. Your money means shit to me. Money is only worth if it brings you happiness and joy. That's the only thing it's used for. Otherwise, truthfully speaking, money shouldn't even be a thing on your mind. Like, the world created the concept of money, when in reality it was just goods and services beforehand. Money does not equal anything useful to me. It's definitely good for getting certain things done. It's definitely good for making sure your life isn't terrible. It's definitely good if you've got enough of it, so that way you're not completely destroying everything in your life, you know what I mean? By, like, being overworked or being underpaid and overworked and or whatever else the case is. That destroys you over time. It really does. It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible thing. I've seen it happen to my fucking parents. I watched them just get more and more stressed out, worse and worse and worse. It's not great. It's really terrible, and it's not even just them. I've seen it happen to so many people. When I was growing up, it was a topic of conversation. You know, like, it's just always been that way. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it didn't exist. So, yes. Anyways. But the fact is, the concept of money is just that. It is what you need to be able to facilitate your needs. Other than that, extra is just extra. It's like, well, I got all this cash. Look at this number. It's bigger than your number, so I'm better than you. See this number? It's special. It's good. Bigger than yours. I don't care. Who gives a fuck? Whatever. I'm over here. I'm happy. Are you happy? I'm sure that you think you're happy because you have all that number. But hey, maybe you are. Maybe that's all you need is a number. Maybe you're just a numbers guy. A Jeet. Maybe that's all you'll ever get in life. He could be married. I feel bad for his wife. If he is. Or girlfriend. Same for Pence, but Pence managed to find another equally terrible Karen. Just terrible person. Terrible person. Oh, she has 3 lovely kids. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure she does. She also decides to start teaching them bullshit brainwashing about religion and crap. And then she has to force her views onto a school and exclude others if they're even slightly homosexual? What? I almost kind of feel like I should just round up, like, you're too rich. You're just too fucking white and rich. You know what? I don't like you. You should go over there. Go exclude yourself over there, bitch. I'll go hang out over here with my cool friends. Sorry. Rich, white, icky. Ugh. We be having a party. We got drugs. We got girls. We got men. We got other things. What you got? Bible? Have fun. So much fun. Yeah. Exclusion. Make everybody feel terrible about themselves. Shove fear into their minds that if they are a certain way, then they're going to be punished. And so many other things. And they're worthless if they don't meet your standards. And if they don't have this. And if you don't have these muscles. You don't have this money. You don't have these career. You don't have this blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, the consumeristic ideology of America and most of the world. If you don't have this, you are bad or worthless or less than. Bitch, please. Fuck off. I've been told I was less than all my fucking life. You're stupid. You act crazy. You're never gonna have love. Please. If you knew my future, then man, you must be great at fortune telling. What's all that money you got from playing the lottery with them fortune telling? Why don't you give me the numbers? You got to know my future. Do you have the future when I play the lottery and win, motherfucker? You don't know shit. You ain't nothing. In fact, you're worse than nothing because you're nothing trying to be something and you're hurting people as a result. Go be nothing. Grow some seeds. You know, plant some seeds into you. Grow some roots. Get yourself a tree. You know. Otherwise, the whole grand scheme of things of you is always going to be bad. You know what? Find your passions in life. Find your truths. Find your morals and ethics and values. Get rid of the shit that you used to think. I understand that's difficult. I understand it takes time. I understand you need to be proven. It needs to be proven to you. But you have to take in the information and accept the information. You cannot just ignore the information because you don't like it. That's incorrect. That is wrong. You are stupid and ignorant. I'm not saying we know all the answers. There are a lot of studies that haven't been funded properly because you jerks want to keep having your jerk-off contest and military games and bomb every brown person in the damn world. Fuck me. Jeez. Industrialized military complex ain't nothing, man. You know there are good people in the military and in law enforcement, and you fucking brainwash them into believing your bullshit. These are wonderfully, perfectly good people, but they think that because you're X, Y, Z that you're a terrible person. What the fuck is that about? What's with this exclusionary bullshit? When did we start having to make everybody into a tribe and hate everybody? When did we start becoming more and more like the very things that we were trying to get away from in the fucking savannah of Africa? In the plains? Can't you be better than the basic time we first evolved? Can't you be better than that? I mean, it's been a few 100,000 years. You would think you would act a little better than your ancestors in terms of your human decency towards your fellow man. But you know what? We don't. They acted better towards each other than we do to each other. That's terrible. That's just fucked up. And then they get to justify it. Like, I've got this money, I have this. Doesn't matter what it is. It's just insert thing or achievement or whatever it is that says I'm better than you. So, of course, whatever you're saying isn't right. When did that become a thing? Like, has that always been a thing? Because I feel like I've only just started noticing it. But yeah, it's like everywhere in America. Really is. Like, that's judgment. That's you saying I can judge you because of X, Y, Z. And no. The only time anyone can judge anybody is in a fucking courtroom. Otherwise, you don't know the whole story. You don't know that person. You don't have their thoughts and feelings. You're basically just assuming shit because you have your own biases, your own predilections of what a person that is XYZ in terms of health, wealth, or color. And therefore, they're all like that. Not just the one that you're focusing on. Every one of them has to be that. And even that thing that you don't really actually know that much about, and you're still assuming things, is definitely true. What? How do you get to that conclusion? How stupid are you? Where did this, roundabout bullshit logic come from? Who's pioneered this shit? Because you know there had to be someone that started that shit, right? Like, at some point, someone had to, way back in the day, start being a dick about it, you know what I mean? And they got away with it. And that's the thing, they keep getting away with it. I don't get that. It's like, it's so clear to me that it's not real. It's so clear to me that it's stupid and fake and wrong. I just don't see why other people don't see it that way. You know what I mean? It's like you're just not making sense. You're making bad logical choices. You are not thinking critically. What you are doing is reacting emotionally. And when you react emotionally, you cause issues, okay? A great example is the whole situation with the guy just straight up knocks out that black girl in North Carolina. Never should have done that, but if you get the full video, you see that he starts coming out and he's already being bullied, basically fucking fucked around with on the way out, and then he starts getting just yelled at, screamed at. I think at one point I saw something get thrown at towards him, but I don't know. That one was a little more grainy of a video, and I wasn't paying too much attention. But essentially, the whole thing escalated because of emotions and people not being able to say, "Oh, this is dumb." You know, like this is stupid. Why are you yelling at me? What did I do here? I don't, what? Who cares? And, I mean, yeah, the guy deserves his punishment, but still, I don't think it was as one-sided as people want it to believe. Want to believe it is. Like if you start antagonizing an individual and you don't even know the person, you don't know, like, I don't know what was going on that made them antagonize him, but let's just leave that alone. The fact that he did get antagonized, the fact that you don't know his mental status, you don't know what he's been through, how he's feeling that day, and so many other things, and you're antagonizing him. And the dude's 6'5", just huge. And you're going to go after it? Like, none of this is a good decision. None of that was a good decision to begin with. At all. It was just bad from the get-go. And it escalated and got worse and worse until you see the guy just, quite frankly, I laughed when I first saw it, just knocked the girl out. Like, just straight up, she's out. And, well, yes, I did laugh because I'm an asshole and I think it's funny. Because the dude, she just doesn't even, like, she just goes, I'm gonna do this right up to you. And the dude's like ginormous. What did you expect was gonna happen? I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. Anyways. Yes, he shouldn't have done it, but I'm like, the situation was that, and you knew what was going to happen. You were going in for a fight. Like, that's what was happening, and the dude just hit you once, and you were out. You lost that fight. You just didn't initiate it. Like, you did, and you didn't. You didn't initiate that particular battle, but in the reality, you started the whole thing. You started the chain of events that led to that happening. All because of, for some reason, you wanted to antagonize the guy. Quite frankly, I think that you're dumb and almost deserve it. Almost. You don't deserve getting knocked out and punched in the face. No one does. There are some people that do. But she didn't. But the whole situation got to that point because she decided that was what's going to happen. They made those choices that ultimately led to that happening. So, that's where reactionary emotional response is poor. And the fact is that nobody, not even myself, is good at handling that. Truthfully, there are some amazing people that can handle their shit under extreme things. But you're in the minority. Truthfully, you really are. You're very much in the minority. You look at the bell curve, you're on the fucking 1% fuckers. Like, you either at your military training, or you fucking had some abuse in your past, or whatever the case is. But there's usually a reason. Most people aren't born being able to handle stuff like that. Like, most likely you were not 4 years old and being able to handle something like that. You know what I mean? So, yes, and I'm not saying he did, but the guy apparently had PTSD, it was said. The guy did have his own issues, and it did seem like he got antagonized. Personally, I think the whole situation was fucked up, but what happened, I could see it coming from a mile away, So when people start to talk to me, how can you predict things? I'm like, I'm not really predicting anything. I just have seen it happen so many times that you're playing out the same thing that I see so often. You're not special. Just because it's happening to you, it does not mean you're special. That might suck to hear, but hopefully it helps. It means you can change. It means things can change. Dude, Trump's a dick. Seriously, he is. He's a total douche. He's a total dick. There's nobody close to him. Even in, actor interviews where, they still have, the need to be within the area of Trump, are still pretty much like, yeah, the guy's kind of douche. So, Trump ain't cool, man. But I figured people would hate him, I figured people wouldn't like him. I figured it would disrupt much of the power struggle and, shift a few party lines around. Granted, I only came up with that after. The original reason I did it was I was fucking angry because 2016 basically dumped me, or I dumped her, whatever the fuck happened. And yeah, I was just angry. That's really what it was. I was very angry at the time when I made that quite frankly, stupid decision to open my mouth up and give people the tools needed to make them succeed. In the grand scheme of things, ultimately it works out. It gives us proper motivation. It gives us a real platform now. People are very angry. People are very discontent. People can use that to their advantage. There are already a large portion of government workers that are disenfranchised right now that would just love to be able to direct their anger and subvert power away from the government. There would just be tremendous gratitude, I bet, for them having a purpose of slowly but surely overthrowing the current top. And isn't that just the most fun? Yeah, I think it is. Now, I'm not talking about everybody. Quite frankly, it's not like you can just do it all together in one day. And I know that you guys are like, he's bluffing, or, it'll take so long it won't matter for us anyways. I'm like, Sometimes change happens slowly, and then all of a sudden, it happens quite quickly. That's because you reach critical mass, motherfucker. You gather up your army. You gather up your people. You gather up what you need to be able to succeed in doing this. And then you reach critical mass where the government can no longer stop you, where the military turns down their weapons in favor of you because you've already changed their minds. It'll be wonderful. Beautiful. Watching those fat capitalistic pigs have to run around, screaming in terror, going to different countries, trying to flee and save their money. Oh, 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 we want our money, oh. They don't even realize we have our money already. Good times. Good times. But it hasn't happened yet. And I'm reminiscing about something that may or may not happen. It's just a good thought. It brings me joy to imagine the justice. It does. It really does. And you know what the best part is? It just needs to happen in a few places. You just need to get the ball rolling just enough to where that hill is so big because you've reached that critical mass that thing can't be stopped. So it'll take time. It'll take money. It'll take effort. It'll take people. But it's doable. Not only is it doable, it's something that can be done without, this is the big part, violence. Now, there is something to be said about protesting, but I'll be damned if even during the whole stock market crash with those fuckers pepper spraying the shit out of everybody, it's not great. It did create a movement, but it wasn't a big enough movement. There was backlash, there was stuff there, but it wasn't quite enough, it wasn't quite right. You know what I mean? You need a crash large enough, so fast, that they can't bail it out, they can't get their employees back, and they can't change the minds of the people fast enough and brainwash them again into believing it was okay. And then all of a sudden, you have a large group of very angry, very needed to be directed people. You show them the real reason why they should be angry. You show them the real truth of the matter. And you get a fighter. You get someone that's willing and able to not just sit there and protest, But go to those voting booths and go to where people need to go to help their fellow man, to be able to truly start changing things. But you gotta get their money. Well, that takes time. And nobody likes a stock market crash because then people don't like the idea of their money being gone. I gotta say, I don't really give a shit, personally, but I'm biased, and I recognize that there are many, many things in play. And I would definitely like there to be fail-safes in place so that way people don't just get destroyed, you know? You need proper prep. You need to get your tents. You need to get your meal. You need to get your water. You need to get your masks, your clothing. You need to get the things that are needed for this to work. Healthcare cannot go down. That's a big one. So if you're a doctor and you're disenfranchised and you need to feel like you are part of something, God damn it, we need you. Because trust me when I tell you this, there are going to be injuries. There are going to be very bad injuries, possibly deaths if there are any sort of protest. And even in America, they don't play fucking nice. Okay? I mean, they play nicer than other places, but they don't play nice. So yeah, we need EMT. We need people on our side that are able to not just care for wounded, but be able to properly support and help and give advice, because there are going to be people there that are sick already and cannot afford medication and cannot do things that they need to be able to do. They are a fighter no less, but they are not able to fight. But they have a mind, so there we go. They have skills with that mind. Figure out what they can do. Utilize that. We can do this. It's possible to do this. It's possible to do this in such a way that they can't fucking stop it because it's all legal. Just like we can't stop their legal corporations from doing incredibly terrible acts to the environment or to their own employees. They can't stop us from getting changed and unbrainwashed and slowly working their way into the gears, into the levers, to all the apparatus. And then you can make it stop. Isn't that the whole point? Don't you want all the trouble to stop? Don't you want a better, bigger, brighter future? I do. Universal health care. There's some other stuff, but that's the main one that I really want right now. That would help so many people. Just straight up in America. And it would destroy pharmacies. It would destroy tons of stock markets. It would be great if we could have universal health care. That's the reason why they don't want it, because there's so much money involved. It's terrible stuff, really. Terrible, terrible stuff, that money. It's almost like cocaine. Oh, wait, they're basically the same. I mean, that's the way how they affect their brain. Oh, yeah. Cocaine affects the brain in the same similar neural pathways that money does. Why do you think Wall Street people love them cocaine?
They love them so cocaine, some cocaine. Put it on a key, sniff that shit up. But for real though, yeah, yeah. I don't know. If I had anything to say about Mr. Robot, I'd be like, the best fucking ending you could possibly give us is a true look at a real ending to the economy. Not this rinky-dink little bullshit that we got about reducing debt. Motherfucker. We came together and stopped it. Shut it all down. Got inside that evil corporation. Learned a few, just enough numbers and accounts. Little social engineering. You know, the drama in between. And then the big finale. Which is, of course, what I'm trying to come up with. Because I don't really know. I love the idea of like a sudden worldwide tanking of the economy. As in, there is no such thing as money anymore. It's all gone. People suddenly realize, oh, I can still just exchange this. It might not have any value technically, but that's what we've been doing already. Why not keep doing it? I'm just saying. I don't know. Like, it would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah. Whoever came up with the nuclear idea, I like that. I do, actually. Like, almost as if the whole fucking world gets destroyed. Like, the world economy gets tanked, and then, you know, people come together, and then, of course, the powers that be are like, oh, no, that's not working. I mean, you could always be able to just, like... No, because that wouldn't work either. I do like the nuclear option. Like the whole Terminator 4 aspect. You know, something just ramps up and escalates into the point where nukes just start falling. Which, actually, that could be a thing. Like, you could set it up in such a way that instead of, like, you tank the economy as a result of those nukes falling. Because you set it up for Evil Corp to fight whatever, or Evil Corp joins together with the government to be able to fight X-government with their Evil Corp situation, or whatever it is, in China, Russia, whatever the fuck. And then, you know, nukes start falling, and then all of a sudden the money just goes away. And then all of a sudden, all the weapons for missiles and anti-ballistic missiles and even tanks and anything and everything that happens to have any sort of electronic interface goes up. Man. Because nukes do their whole, electromagnetic radiation thing. EMP. However, I think it'd be more EMP plus the super virus that we made. And then, hey, guess what? The world returns back into nature. We start fucking realizing one another, and we start talking to each other. And at the end, you salute to the rather weird sunset that is now somehow purple-blue. Thanks to some sort of radiation? I don't know. Just looks cool. Wouldn't that be fucking dope, though? I think it would be. It's probably not what's going to happen. They probably already wrote their own whole story. I'd like to see it happen. That's something that I don't mind if people took. But I'd like some royalties on that shit. So if you sell it to them. But granted, they're going to hear about it anyways because these fuckers, so really, who gives a shit? I got loyalty inside my DNA. Because 2016 and I made a deal, and I'm keeping that fucking deal. Alright? I'm a man of my word. I'm loyal. I have honor. But this is the big stipulation I think we kind of covered in the beginning of the whole process. There was a possibility I might catch feelings for individuals. Well, certain individuals should be allowed. Okay? As far as I'm concerned. But that's me. That's my stipulation. I can understand if that breaks the deal and it nulls and voids the whole thing. What can I say? I like an organization. I like the whole thing. Well, I'm not exactly talking about any particular one thing, truthfully. Yeah. I mean, there are multiple things here that we're talking about, sadly, which is unfortunate. Because I can't really properly talk about it because otherwise people die, and I don't want anybody to die, and I don't want myself to die. So, yes, that's the end of that discussion as far as I'm concerned. Granted, there's negotiation that can be done, but that's to be we have to talk. Do you ever get it? No, motherfucker, I usually hear their voices or see visual signs in the air. And if you think that's weird, sorry that I'm able to do that and you aren't. I got talent, you don't. He's too powerful. I told you. He's getting his kinetic energy back or whatever the fuck it is. Ah! Oh. You guys are funny and dumb. That's what I love about you. Seriously. It's actually very entertaining to me, honestly, to blow people's minds. To expose them to some basic science stuff that I learned when I was in fucking middle school, but for some reason they didn't. And they're just like... It's ridiculous. Or basic concepts of philosophy. The, barest, fairy tale level shit of philosophy. But if you phrase it the right way, it's profound as fuck. But actually, I mean, that's kind of the whole point. Philosophy is kind of dumb if you don't understand it, okay? So you got to be able to present it in a way that your average layperson can attribute it to their life. So analogies and examples and, all that helps out. You are ultimately trying to teach and communicate to another individual something they do not know and they didn't want to know before. They probably don't want to know now. So, it's tough. What am I thinking about? I don't know. Just random stuff. Everybody here has their own, sort of energy right now. Some are angry, some are excited, some are scared. There's mixtures. You're all kind of flowing different directions, and it's real hard to gauge what's going on. Look, everybody calm down. Calm down. We will not destroy the world. We live on this world. I don't care how much the excitement of nuclear bombs falling from the sky seems to you, which, by the way, if that makes you excited, what the fuck are you on? Because, no. That's terrible. Irradiation to the earth, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people dead. Places on the planet you just can't go to ever. And you're supposed to survive that? No. Sorry, I'll never get behind that shit. But for a story that's big and grandiose, and it cuts to black, right when they clink a glass or something. Yeah, or I don't know, it's the sunset. They're partying. They finally get to have their real party. Their irradiated party. Gas mask, drugs, nudity, all the grand shit. All the good shit. It's TVMA, motherfucker. I want my nudity, sex, and violence with some drugs. And give me some curse words while you're at it. I am a grown-ass adult. I am 27. I can handle it. I don't understand the idea of TV. It is for adults, motherfucker. Why can't you play more with it? I hate the whole FCC bullshit when it comes down to that. They allow certain things in certain areas. The whole thing's convoluted. The whole thing is convoluted. I don't understand why certain things are this way and other things are this way. But what I did learn through watching a lot of late night talk show is that a lot of it kind of comes down to the individual who is the censor and talking to them and seeing what you can get away with and what they may or may not feel comfortable with. So, if that helps. But that doesn't really work for a TV show as far as I know. I don't know what the rules are on that, truthfully. The whole thing is kind of weird. There's a lot of this guy does this thing and this guy does that thing, but this guy talks to this guy over here, that guy talks to him, and he talks to him. They're all men. There might be one woman in this chain of command. She's important, though. They all are. And then he talks over to here, and that guy talks back to him, and he gets back to him. It turns into this whole thing. So, Yeah, I don't know. What drama do you think they should go with this time? I don't know, man. What was the drama they had before? Having to do with, like, the Dark Hat? Dark something? I haven't watched the show in forever. The last time I watched it, I was in full-blown sort of paranoia mode, and it did not help. So take that for what you will. But yeah, Mr. Robot's fucking dope as shit. I don't know really what they should be focusing on, because Angela already sort of did her whole, like, self-help, constantly staring and repeating the same thing over and over. Like, that's technically a form of hypnosis, but not really. Then she's kind of ostracized. I don't know. Like, she would probably start getting ridiculously intertwined with Elliot, I bet, towards the end there. When she already was, right? So then, if she already knows, and she's already plotting, and they're already creating things, and there's two different personalities, then Christian Slater most likely will start blending together with him towards the end as the plan comes together, because Elliot's true nature starts to come together. But of course his true nature conflicts with the personality he created as a result of all the trauma and needing to be able to function in life. So that they slowly collide more and more and more and fritz out until eventually you get, like, the true Elliot as he is, hitting that button or whatever it is, or getting the final orders at the end. No, I'm not talking about personal experience. But kind of, yes. Sort of similar. Mine was a bit different, but sort of similar. And then, of course, like, there are obviously going to be corrupt politicians and police and stuff that either help or hurt depending on which side they're on, and the basic, like, I don't know, like people that are close to the guy with the white beard. What the fuck was that fuckface name? I don't know. I don't remember. For some reason, I'm hearing Gilbert Gottfried. I'm like, he's not Gilbert Gottfried. I don't care if he happened to have that one line of hair. Just because it had the same hairline that one episode, it is not Gilbert Gottfried. Okay, brain? That is not the same thing. He thinks it's funny. It's a little funny. But yeah, having his sort of henchmen, but in reality, other individuals. I don't know. Sort of start to blend together and try and infiltrate what Elliot and Angela and everybody else is trying to do. Oh yeah, the super ridiculous guy that's, like, way into Elliot. Did he get killed? I don't remember. Yeah. Okay. I don't remember, so I don't have any plans for him. If he is still alive, of course you gotta integrate that. If he isn't, I mean, he can still be flashbacky. I'm gonna guess that there will probably be flashbacks as a result of them, Didn't Elliot get shot at the end there, or was that season 2, or is that season 3? Damn, I really should rewatch it. I honestly have no idea what happened in it. Anyways, I went off on a long tangent. What time is it? Shit. I got up early tomorrow. Alright. Good night, everybody.